So another apiary, pretty overgrown. As you can see, I battled one yesterday, I'm battling one today, but this is my last one to get straight. And this will all come down dead easy because it's not actually that tall, the grass. But look at these lovely bees. These were nucleus colonies that I made with queens I bought early. And most of them are transferred into hives. The ones that weren't were because the bees weren't strong enough. But they are now, and I've still got work to do. But look at this. This is going to give them. This is having a super on now. I should have really put one on last week, but because there's been no real flow, it doesn't make a lot of difference. But isn't that just what you want to see? Beautiful. So I just flipped the camera and you can see them out. These flowers are called marguerites in front, or oxeye daisies. And the unfortunate thing is they offer basically no food whatsoever. What the bees are after is all that there. Chestnut's just starting, but we've still got about 3 weeks. But the remarkable thing this year is the amount of bramble that we've got, which seems to be growing more than ever, which I think because of the rain we've had, it really is pushing out. But this is a really good apiary, even though it's looking a bit jumbled at the moment. I'll have this all clear in about half an hour once I've finished putting supers on everywhere. But once it's done, there's a load of chestnut right down there. So they're all kind of, wherever you go at the moment, what I'm trying to say is wherever you go, there is a plethora of food. We've got some fields some fields of buckwheat at the other end. We've got fields of beans that are in other apiaries. This apiary only seems to have, as far as I know, just the chestnut, but there's tons of it. So what I'm saying is you could put like 40 to 50 hives in each apiary, and it would make no difference. The nectar flow is on. It's like a free-for-all. It's absolutely fantastic, but we just need some sunshine. We had one day yesterday of good weather, and now we're back to kind of overcast and dull. But the temperatures are up. I mean, look at these bees. You can really see how much they're flying. You know, beautiful colonies. You see the strength of these colonies, they're just great. Loads and loads of bees. So I'm going to do this with my strimmer, then cut back with my brush cutter and cut all this. It's a good little thing to point this out, because what I do is I tend to strim close to the hives because it gets right down to the tire level. And the reason why I've got tires here is because the tires are the barrier between the ground and the pallet. You can see there. Yes, they do get a bit wet at the top of the pallet when it's raining, but overall, if you keep the grass down around it, which I haven't here, obviously, but when you do keep the grass down around it, the pallet has a chance to last a few years because it's not sitting in water, it's above. And a lot of people have said, oh, you know, we can't do that where we are because we get possums, we get snakes, we get mosquitoes. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but luckily we don't. We probably get a few mosquitoes, but I'm not near this apiary, so, you know, and there's water sources everywhere the mosquitoes could be in. So, yeah, you know, it is what it is. As I'm saying, I tend to strim about a metre in front of this apiary, maybe 2 metres, and I'll come around with my brush cutter. I don't like to take out these oxeye daisies, so I leave just a metre in front. And you can see where I've cut it regularly. There's no oxeye daisies actually in front of the hives, about a metre in front, and I leave the rest for as long as I can. And people were criticising me yesterday using my brush cutter mower, saying, oh, you know, it's a dinosaur thing to cut that, but you have to have apiaries you can access, you see. I get my truck down here, I can work my hives, but I've got to walk around my hives. And all this area is so fantastic and wild that the amount of area there is peanuts compared to the amount I clear. So that's just to give you some perspective on that. So I really do try and, you know, do my bit. Don't forget as well that we are also providing a massive service of pollination, us beekeepers. We might have to cut a few things to access our hives, but look at the benefits we're providing to all the plants and fruit and vegetables that get pollinated for us for free. We don't see it. They're off doing their business. And yes, we benefit from it, and that's where we get our nectar from, but it's kind of give and take, you know. So I'm going to cut this now, Strim it. Well, I'm going to get all the supers on here first quickly because they need supers on now. They should fill them up over the next 2 or 3 weeks, I hope. We've got about 3 weeks left. Get the supers on, get all tidied up, then I'm going to strim in front of the hives, and I'll get back to you after that. Okay. So that's a huge amount better. Everything is checked, supers added. I've got a couple of colonies. These first three, four, five, sorry, are all absolutely bursting. I was so surprised. I left them when I transferred the ones adjacently because I lost a lot of hives in this colony, this apiary this winter, and it was a perfect place to put loads of nukes. But the ones that I put in between other two hives, they're strong as well. So I'm actually going to have to move about 4 away from here because they're now got to go into hives as well, which is great because I'm not ready to split them. So I'll put them in hives. They'll grow enough in the forthcoming 2 or 3 weeks of flow, and then I'll take a split from them, but they'll stay in a hive. Whereas these ones here, they're so strong, I've got to bring hives to here and get them in straight away. And I'm surprised because it's caught me unawares. I transferred the ones adjacent, as I just said, thinking, oh, they're really strong, and they're now going to give me a super. But this one probably could still give me a super because they're so full of so much brood and so much bees that they still well could do the same. So it just shows you what you can do and how dynamic bees are in the season. But you've got to know what your seasons are. You've got to know when you can do things because this is pushing it. I know that the ones that are really strong can go and nuke still this week with 3 weeks of flow ahead of us. And then they'll fill that hive and then I can take a split and put them down to 7 frames after for the winter and then feed them and then look after them in the autumn and clean the varroa and all that. So overall, I'm really pleased because this is now cut. I haven't got to come back here for a few days, but I'm actually going to have to come back here tomorrow. But the issue tomorrow is this white thing here with 6 wheels on. That has a clutch issue. And in fact, the clutch problem is not the actual clutch, it's the thrust bearing. So I took it to my mechanic up the road and he is retiring. But the last job he will do is my clutch, and he can't order the part because apparently there's 3 different types of clutch bearing for this one, but it's a kit. So he's going to strip it first tomorrow, which is Thursday, and he'll order the clutch part, and then I should have it back Monday and Tuesday next week. But you know, these things crop up. I've got most of the heavy moving done. I'm on my way now to an apiary to collect 5 laying worker colonies that I'm going to shake out and just bring the hives back, and another 5 in another apiary just around the corner. So I'll do the 10 now, bring them back home this afternoon, and then this evening I'll be out with the truck if it doesn't break down with the clutch bearing before I get it to the garage. I'll be taking 10 new colonies from another nuke apiary to replace those ones so they're all in their space. And I'm just moving them out of the way so they've got more foraging area, because each area is designed to have a certain amount of foraging area. And as I said, there's loads of foraging area in one area, but because I've got a lot of hives where my nukes are, I need to get those nukes into other apiaries. It just spreads the load a bit. So that's the truck. It's going in to say tomorrow morning, and I'll probably move hives to those new apiaries tomorrow morning before I drop that off. But my truck is my baby, and we do a lot in it, and it gets me through all the stuff. So it's going to have an oil change as well, all the usual stuff. But just to mention as well, you can see I've cleaned around the tyres now, and the grass will die down a bit more. It looks a bit like still high, but it'll actually sink down there. And the grass this year has been unreal. I mean, I've cut this apiary, strimmed in front of these hives once before, big time, when it was really long, and it's come back exactly the same. So you can see what that's like. But that is about it. I'm going to leave you now because my battery on this phone is about to pack up. And it was just to give you an idea what I'm doing right now this week while the flow is starting. I really hoped that we'd have more sun, but I know tomorrow and the day after are a bit better. It's not bad. The bees are flying. It's not raining, and the blossoms aren't getting wet, and there's loads of pollen coming in. So I've got to look at it like that and look at it at the positive side. But whatever you're doing, be well. Catch you again soon, and take care. Bye for now. Bye-bye.